Yo, that scared me.
No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. I just want to make sure that we're not sitting in dead
I
audio.
wasn't ready for that. It just blasted. I guess I had my speaker too loud or something.
Are you just waiting to hear me?
It's very nice of you, Victor.
Totally get it.
You're
Totally
so
get it.
zen.
Well, here's what's going on. I mean, it is not even 6 a.m. where I'm at, and this is the way to get going.
Thank you for doing this, Victor. I appreciate it. I think the community all pretty much they love you, and to step up and host this, it's always great.
Yeah, I think you're crazy for saying yes to it, but I'm excited.
Why am I crazy?
Well,
you gonna hit me with some tough ones?
Well, it's one of those things. Like, we all love you too, but at the end of the day, like, everybody's got questions, and they're not always easy, you know. So it's just a matter of making sure that people get answers they want while still not hurting your feelings, because that's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah. No, I think the community. It was a good idea because community know you're pretty straightforward, very transparent about things, and I try to do the same. And it's not true that everyone loves me. I got a lot of haters out there, but that's I think part of the reason because of the bear market and stuff. But hopefully we'll clear up some of that today. Decrease the number of haters. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of times having people that don't always appreciate the things you do is not a bad sign at all. You know,
yeah, I get it.
That happens. It's normal. I mean, but at the end of the day, as long as you're not, Logan Paul selling zoo eggs, I think it's all right.
Zoo eggs. All right. Well, not a ton of people here. I know it's early for a lot of people. A lot of them will probably listen to the recording. And the other thing that we'll be doing is there's a bunch of questions that we collected. I think there's a bunch of them that we'll answer after I give the community the update on the roadmap, as well as the on the roadmap and updates. And then we'll do those questions that we collected on Pigeonhole. And then if anything is left unanswered, we'll hit up the people that are here, who I'm sure will continue to join throughout the next hour or two. Hopefully it's an hour. I don't want to keep everyone up, but anyways, and then we'll get those questions. Okay, so that's kind of how the format's going to work.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I am going through questions that people have submitted, and you guys make my life a whole lot easier. Like, I thought I had, difficult things that I wanted to find out about, but a lot of the questions that came in are awesome, and I think it's going to benefit everybody, by listening in. I don't know if my tweet went out, but I did want to make sure that we get as many people in here as possible, getting to hear about what's going on with Deeper. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you share the space with somebody else. Get something out there so that people know that this thing is actually happening in the first place. Because at the end of the day, like, let's be serious, Deeper is nothing without nodes being out there, and you guys are the reason why we're here in the first place.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be cool if you shared it. Just let people know you're listening in on the future of Web3. All right, well, it's 10:01. Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna give. I finally got the roadmap nailed down after a lot of back and forths and reviews about different things. So the roadmap I'm pretty much gonna hit now. Give you guys the update through 2025, and we'll get that onto the website one of these days. Try to get that up as soon as possible. So right now, we're going to start with Q4 of 2022, which we're now. And some of the stuff I'm going to mention is pretty much completed already. So the Deeper Network Android and iOS app development and testing is currently happening. So that's still ongoing. and that will be launched Q1 of next year. So um, pretty much, over the next 3 months, that will be released on Android and Apple. And the decentralized Oracle beta testing is happening as well. Our Oracle is awesome. It's way better than Chainlink, honestly, because it's truly decentralized and it's Web3, which means that the Oracle itself is going to allow our nodes, the people who hold our devices who are online, to earn. Okay, so that's to basically earn for the work that they've done. Okay, and the work is quite passive, so it's great. You don't have to do much; you just have to allow it to happen. Our testing community has tested that, gotten a lot of great feedback about that. So those testers community have been mining through proof of credit for sharing their bandwidth, as well as through the decentralized Oracle and the DEP, okay, which is the NPOW basically. The number 3 for this year, the validator program phase 2 implementation has happened, and we had announced that, I believe it was last week, and people are able to become a validator on the Deeper chain now. So happy to push that out. And just a couple of days ago, I believe it was yesterday, the governance upgrade happened as well. So the upgrade, because of the new upgrades to Polkadot, we've been waiting for that, and that has pushed through. And the council identity has been added, voting has been added, and the core team implementation has been added. I know there are going to be some questions on the governance, and I'll be happy to answer those a little bit later. And the last thing is the next generation proof of work, the NPOW consensus algorithm beta launch will be happening this year as well. Okay, moving into 2023, deeper, and this is all the stuff that we have, the bigger things that we have planned for 2023. Number 1 would be the Deeper Network Android and iOS app launch, and the apps will allow users to not who don't own a Deeper Connect device to use the services. So that's going to be huge, and that's coming out soon. And then the Deeper Connect Air, which I leaked a photo of a few weeks back, and the Indiegogo crowdfunding is gonna start on that. And the Deeper Connect Air is pretty much the truly mobile or the portable Deeper Connect, and it doesn't require any cables. And then the other great thing is the performance has been improved, as well as any heating issues just from our experience with other devices in the past. So that's Indiegogo is going to be launching soon. And then the DPN price comparison feature, which we're collecting data on from the community. If you're able to provide feedback to us, we really appreciate it. We had sent a couple of tweets out a couple weeks ago asking, there's basically a survey that you can fill out to tell us how you like to use certain domains and the reason why, and what IP you typically like to use on those. And this price comparison feature is really cool. The name is not totally a lock yet, but it allows people to save a lot of money through shopping, through flights, hotels bookings, and stuff like that, because your IP actually dictates the kind of price that you get. So if you're buying a flight and your IP is in the United States versus, say, your IP is in India, and you're buying the same flight, you could save hundreds of dollars just by changing an IP. So this feature is going to make it even easier and more intuitive for people, because a lot of people don't actually know this. And then the decentralized Oracle launch in 2023, and we're going to focus a lot on partnerships and sales of the decentralized Oracle. Okay, let's see. And then we're still researching and continuing the development of EZC for retail use case development. So that part, there's a lot of logistics and how to integrate it. That's still under research, and hopefully we can get EZC out as soon as possible. And decentralized CDN, the Decentralized Content Delivery Network, okay, research and development in 2023. And third generation mini launch. So we'll have a new mini sometime next year as well, which will have improved memory, storage, and performance upgrades. Okay, so we don't only make and develop new devices, we also continue to improve the devices that we have. Okay. Um, and then the ones that don't really serve a purpose for anymore or not worth continued R&D, we will retire, like the Lite and the Nano. Deeper Connect Pro, that's the current name right now. It's not a lock yet, but it's basically essentially the cloud, which is the hardware. Hard drive one, Deeper Connect, and the D Cloud service launch, well, sometime next year as well, probably closer towards the end of next year. So I know a lot of people have been asking for that, and they're like, "Why are you releasing the Air before that?" Well, this one is a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more infrastructure associated with it. So we still need time to develop that. But that device will most likely allow for you to increase your own hard drives. Becomes basically a decentralized cloud storage system and integrated with Web3, so that when people are storing important files on your in bits, in basically encryption, encrypted bits on your device, you will get paid for it. So that's part of NPOW as well. So that's really exciting, to become your own cloud service available for other people to use and rent. And then by the end of next year, 2023, we are targeting 1 million mobile app downloads, as well as 100,000 hardware nodes by the end of next year. Okay, so that's kind of a realistic kind of view on things for next year. And then the year after, in 2024, we have continued research and development of open source SoC, which is, I believe, Socket on Chip. Socket on Chip design based on RISC-V. So this is a little bit over my head, this one, I have to be honest, but it has to do with hardware and the ability to design open source SoCs, which have to do with chips and hardware. And then the next one will be the enterprise DEP services for hybrid cloud computing. So we want to start to enter in 2024 into the B2B aspects. So a lot of people might not know, but Deeper Network is a Web3 infrastructure project. And the cool thing about infrastructure is that once you have it all laid out, and it takes a while to build, eventually a lot of people will be using it. And by using that, the infrastructure of Web2, for instance, like Oracle, CEO Ellis's Oracle, I mean, when you're using the internet, everyone uses Oracle, right? So that is like an infrastructure. So they think about Windows, they think about these big names, which is more front end, but there's a lot of stuff on the back end, which is the infrastructure aspects that are so important to any web service or technology. And that's kind of what we're doing. It's not the most exciting thing, and it's a lot of times it's very hard to understand it. But so we kind of do both, right? We have devices as well, which is kind of consumer based. All right, moving forward. Let's see, where was I? So we have continuing into the B2B aspect, business to business. Right now, the business model is very much B2C, which is the business to consumers, and our main thing right now is to build out the nodes on the network, and the nodes will be a huge part into supporting the network as well. So the 2024 will be doing decentralized CDNs and decentralized cloud services, and the full proof of credit to NPOW consensus algorithm will probably take place in 2024, the full migration. So as NPOW gets implemented, it will be a hybrid for a while. where people can earn on both. But eventually, NPOW will replace proof of credit. Okay, and there will be many more ways and more lucrative from your guys' point of view using NPOW as well. Okay, and then Earthlink. So I talked about Earthlink a while back, and Earthlink is a Wi-Fi, decentralized Wi-Fi sharing service that basically makes you a Wi-Fi hotspot that other people in the vicinity can rent out. Okay, and you get paid for it. So Earthlink in 2024, and it kind of is associated with edge computing, data sharing, and storage network as well. So Earthlink is great. People have heard of Starlink, which is Elon Musk's what is it? He does the internet through satellites and sharing that way. Earthlink is kind of using the current infrastructure and sharing it that way and making it Web3 in that users, decentralized users, are getting paid, and they're basically earning the incentives, okay, for sharing these services, and that's what Web3 is all about. And then by the end of 2024, we are targeting 3 million mobile app downloads, as well as 200,000 hardware nodes by the end of 2024. Okay, and a few more things for 2025 and beyond. Open source SoC, the socket on chip, as well as open source Atom OS in 2025. And then a third party. For those of you that don't know what Atom OS is, it's actually the dashboard that you're using that supports and controls the devices that you guys use, that you use to support it. And then third-party dApps development, such as DAds, decentralized advertising, decentralized YouTube, decentralized chats, emails, all that stuff. We will continue to encourage third-party developers to do those things. Of course, we will continue to do some as well. We have a few dApps right now on our chain. One of them was developed by us. It was just it was a game. It was a tank game to show that you can integrate something simple as a game and integrate it into the chain so that you can pay. Basically, you pay 1 DPR to allow you to play the game. It was really used as a demo. And then we also have another project called Eclipse that's built some infrastructure and continuing to build infrastructure on DeeperChain as well. And that needs to continue to happen. It's basically like our DEP, decentralized edge computing platform, is like a Google Play Store or an app store where developers can develop their own apps, but in our case, decentralized apps, or called dApps, onto the chain, and we'll have a store, and people could build their own dApps, design it the way where they can benefit, how people are gonna to use it, whether it's free or there's service fees. That's going to be open source, and people will be able to do that. So that's really exciting. All right. One in each household initiative, 2025, free product services, 2025. We're looking to go that route in order to continue to grow the network as well. A full Web3 decentralized network compatibility with mainstream Web2 infrastructure, creating the world's largest decentralized network. Okay, so I think what this is I think a lot of Web3 projects, what they do is they look forward, but they don't really look backwards. And at Deeper Network, when I say looking forward, you're building new things that might not have too much of a connection with current infrastructure. Okay, there's a lot of these kind of things that we see, but at Deeper Network, we want to close the chasm. There's a huge gap between Web 2 and Web 3 right now, and the only way to close that gap is for Web 2 to continue to improve, to know about blockchain. As you know, a lot of Web 2 companies now, they're looking at and trying to understand about more things about blockchain and integrate that as a part of their business model. And for Deeper Network, building infrastructure both forwards and backwards is important. So we are also building things that allow for Web2 businesses and companies to connect and integrate a lot easier as well. Okay, so that's something that we'll be doing. The last thing on this roadmap is we're targeting 10 million mobile users and 1 million hardware nodes by the end of 2025. All right. So that is the update for the roadmap. And now I would like to ask Victor to ask some of the questions that we've collected on Pigeonhole. And some of these are pretty tough, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate you going through the roadmap because I think that's a big deal. I think that just going over some of the things that you just said, I think you're gonna have a pretty easy time with some of these questions because you just nailed it even during this beginning phase. Um, but I guess we'll start out with a softball,
Okay.
which is what's the percentage of the new app purchased by consumers that is gonna get burned and not send out to another wallet? I was
Right.
joking about it being easy.
Yeah, that's not an easy one, and I don't have an exact number for that, but I know a lot of people care about how much is going to be burned because it will affect the value of the DPR you have, right? If we burn it, it's not to manipulate or change the price of anything. It has to make sense in the ecosystem as well, and there are existing models that we follow. Um, for instance, the Polkadot, which only burns 1%, right? Every 7 days, I believe, and that's the current model. But those things can be adjusted. But in this case, um, burning DPR to mint EZC is something we're still working on. The exact percentage, I don't know. It could be anywhere from 10% to 50% or higher, and it has to be something that makes a lot of sense. But it's hard to answer that because the ecosystem hasn't been totally built out, and there's a lot of things we need to study on that. But it's not going to be like a 1% or anything like that. So it's going to be a little bit more drastic. Yeah.
So, two things. That's great to hear that it's going to be a little bit more drastic. And I'm really glad to hear you saying, I don't know. I think a lot of times in this space, people just want to come up with stuff and they don't always give out the exact answer, and people end up being disappointed later. I rather hear I'm not sure at this time, but I'll look into it rather than, just making stuff up as we go along.
That's true. Yes.
So with this whole, update now, being that we are on Polkadot for the deeper network, why, are validators and councils not decentralized, but requiring still, deeper to kind of be part of it when it comes to the pre-approval to participate? Um,
Mm, yes, that's a great question. I remember reading that one, and that's an excellent question because Deeper Network is about the users, and we want to give full control eventually of the entire network uh, to the to the users. And the reason that it's not fully decentralized and doing it now because it's still very early, and it has to be done, it has to be a process, and it has to be done in phases. It's not ready to be fully decentralized yet, and so because of that, we have now opened it for the community to participate, and that's a very important step. Any serious project needs to have steps that lead towards full decentralization, especially a Web3 project. And that's what we have done. And so it will take time. And when the time is ready, that will happen. But as we continue to develop and build our own infrastructure, it has to be possible to allow us to change things, to do certain things that's a little bit more on the centralized side. But we are moving step by step in the right direction, which is towards full decentralization.
so to simplify it, you don't want people to screw things up while things are getting built. Is that fair?
Yeah, that would be stupid. Yeah, because people will screw it up, including us. But a lot of people don't know what they're doing, and yeah, we can't leave the project in the future of Deeper Network in the hands of people who
Randos. We like to call
Yeah, randos.
those randos.
Exactly, randos.
But
Okay, is that the
so
term?
so so let me ask you. I mean, it's a pretty close knit community for the people that want to be validators and council members and things of that nature. Have you had the experience where people are upset because they wanted to be part of something and couldn't be? Is that happening yet right now, or is that not really the case yet? Because people are close enough to where they can reach out and say, "Hey, I want to do something. I want to be part of this. Can we move towards this or that?"
Yeah. Um, well, I think our community, for the most part, are very, very well educated, well versed in the crypto space, very hungry for knowledge. And for many of them, they do a lot of research and they understand this stuff. And those are the ones that really want to participate and they ask these kind of great questions. And then there are, newbies as well, right, that don't really know, and they have a device and they're just learning some of the basics of the device. So those people don't care as much, but definitely we have, and I think it's more of a about the steps towards decentralization. Why they ask as well, they want to make sure to challenge the project to move in the right direction and to help guide that. And so we have people ask, and this is why it's here. It's here actually a little bit earlier than I expected, but it's here and people can participate. And we have applicants for the validators program as well. And the reason they have to be approved by the team is that we have to make sure they know what they're doing. Number one, to become a validator, and number two, do they have the right equipment if they want to become a self what do you call it, self-maintained validator, right? There's the different options there. You can also be a hosted validator, which is kind of on cloud. Now, validator nodes are very important to the deep to any blockchain, is because it helps them function. It transacts and it does a lot of the validations, whether or not things should happen. And when a validator node goes down, it affects a lot of things, including rewards to transactions to NPOW. All that stuff is going to be affected. So we have to make sure that it's going to work properly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tack on that don't worry, I just, I got Starlink as a backup internet, so I'm gonna be able to apply and get my stuff going. Yeah,
Nice.
you see it come through soon enough. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here, which is something that some people really care about is privacy. Hopefully people here really care about privacy if they're into deeper at all. But inside of the terms and conditions, it does have the statement that Deeper has the right to monitor user content while using the VPN. Um, what does that mean exactly? Like, what kind of data is Deeper getting to see?
hmm that's a good one, and I'm surprised people are reading that detailed into that. It might not be worded the best, but basically, our developers do collect things like what firmware you're using, things to troubleshoot issues, and also help improve the network. We don't collect any personal info or anything that puts you guys at risk of anything bad. It's mostly about iOS, what operating system you're on, what firmware you're on, um, stuff like that. I don't have the exact list of things, but I know that it's very limited, and we had to put it into the and conditions. And the lawyers are actually looking at that and working with the developers to try to become to have a better kind of a verbiage for that to try to improve it so it doesn't sound so alarming. Yeah.
That makes sense. So at the end of the day, it's not a matter of like I want to see, what YouTube videos you're watching, but more of I want to make sure that the platform is working correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us to collect personal information to sell it to make a few bucks, that's a step in the wrong direction, and we wouldn't want to do that. That would be stupid.
Totally makes sense there. Um, all right, this is a good one here. Um,
I'm
so
scared.
why does it? Well, it's kind of a follow up, right? So somebody else was asking, um, what does deeper privacy policy say? They receive access to personal information from your social network accounts if you use your VPN. So it's kind of like the same kind of question, but they're asking in regards to social media accounts.
Right. Yeah, see, that's might be a verbiage thing. Honestly, I don't know the answer to this. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be dealing with things like platform versions and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. So I can't really say too much on this because I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is that we're not trying to pry into the privacies of our users. And whatever that verbiage is, and our lawyers are looking into that to make that so it's not so alarming. Um, and if it is something that's, because honestly, I'm not a part of that actual part of it, and if it is something bad, which I don't think so, but I want to be kind of fair. That is something that we will address head on and make sure that it doesn't go where we're taking private data from to invade anybody's privacy. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And not only that, like I actually am one of those people that does read through things. Um,
Hmm.
and part of the terms and conditions also talks about no logs policy, which it talks about deeper not having a long term logging aspect to things. It literally it's the header if anybody wants to read it. It says no logs policy, and talks about how it's basically set up as an automated process, and things are not monitored, recorded, logged, stored, or pass to any other third parties, because that's a big problem, is dealing with third parties, because you can have the most you know greatest intentions of all time, but if you send it to a third party who's working with you, you just don't know what that third party might do with the data. So it's good to see that, even though there are some discrepancies that people are wondering about, that no logs policy is actually in place, which is kind of great. So I highly recommend it. If if you're one of those people that read things, check that out because it is in there as well. Now let's talk about moving things around. Somebody who's wondering, why have you not fully opened the bridge from deeper chain to other chains yet? What's going on with the flow of DPR?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people, I think that question, and Victor's being nice at the end, it was like, "Oh, why are you controlling DPR outflow and stuff?"
I was
He,
waiting for your answer so I could actually slam you halfway through.
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna make it so you can't slam me. But a lot of people don't realize bridges have saved many blockchain projects from hacks and stuff. And when you have limits each day, and you blockchains who have had hacks in the past, bridges are a great way for people for the project to control the outflow of tokens to disappear. So it's really a big part of it is to is the main part is for the security aspect. It's not about controlling the price and the flow. And even though that could be one of the results of it, but as you guys might know, we have continued to monitor that and increase the limits when needed. And right now we're at I think a very good equilibrium, and it's not about manipulating the price or anything like that. Because honestly, at this stage, the price is how do I say this? It's not something that we focus on at all. I know the community focuses on it, and I think in blockchain in general, or crypto in general, a lot of speculators out there, and that's kind of the only thing, unfortunately, they focus on. But that's the reality of things, and I never really do price talk because it's not our focus. But it's about security, and if you ask any developer, they will know that is a great way to protect the project in times of hacks and things like that.
Yeah, and it's also the most common way that people do hack systems, is taking advantage of
Of the
unlimited,
bridge.
unlimited withdrawals of
Yep.
bridges.
Yep. Exactly.
Now, why do the exchanges, not recognize the total supply of DPR going down from the 10 billion? Like there hasn't seemed to be an update on, websites that do track the token.
Hmm. That's an excellent question. That was actually a question that we had discussed internally as well with CMC on what is the best way to handle burns. Does it affect the max supply, the total supply? Does that number go down when you burn, or the max supply stays the same? Okay, and whenever you burn, it actually takes it off of the circulating supply, which in this case is what we've done. The Coin Market Cap said there's no definitive answer on which one is better. Okay, it's whatever is suitable, and in our case, I think 10 billion is the total supply. Anything that happens after that, whether it's a burn or whatever, we've shown proof of the links of the burns, and that has happened. But it might not look as good, because it's still 10 billion. It doesn't look like it's, 9 billion something and change. So um, that's just the way it was designed, and I will talk to CMC again, CoinMarketCap, and see if there's a way for them to change that aspect of it, if possible. So yeah, I don't know how to answer that besides what I just said, I guess.
No, I mean, and we all know you got those strong connections with being, double digit employee number over at CMC at some point in time. And they do explain, like they talk about how the max supply, if you there's a little icon that talks about what the max supply means and the total supply, because they're one side by side. And total supply does
Right.
talk about, having minus any coins that have been burned. But I agree with you that they don't display it in a very intuitive manner for people, especially people that are new to crypto. I mean, it's a lot of numbers to look at, and it doesn't always make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you reaching out to them and trying to get that, squared away because it's going to help everybody, not only Deeper, but everybody that has things listed on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, and I,
Um,
I gotta say, even though I used to be a core member at CoinMarketCap, they're very very legit over there. There's nothing I can do personally to change anything for the benefit of myself or Deeper Network. So whatever they're showing is whatever the processes and SOPs that they have to follow, and it's the proper way. So yeah, I don't want to get have anybody get the wrong impression that I can just make a call and change a number to whatever. Yeah.
I think that if that were the case, it would have happened already. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
CoinMarketCap is definitely one of the most trusted sources when it comes to
Yeah,
tracking
they're
coins and things of that nature.
absolutely they're the authority in terms of price and these kind of things. Yeah.
So sticking along the lines of that burn there, so why does Deeper advertise burn credit and EZC, giving the impression that 100% is burn when it's actually being, transferred to a treasury with a burn percentage?
Well, that's not easy. See, that is actually we're following what Polkadot is doing, and we follow a lot of the projects that follow Polkadot, like that are still on Kusama or something like that. Um, and that 1% is actually, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, which is the 1% of all transactions every 7 days. Okay, it's about transactions, and it gets put into a treasury, and we're only following that because it's like I said, it's still early. We don't have tons of transactions besides rewards, payments, and stuff like that. And it doesn't make sense for us to change anything right now because there's really no reason to. We're following what Polkadot's doing. We're keeping a close eye on when they make changes, the reason why, and the effect that it has. So if it's not broken, we're not going to change it. Right now, I understand the community is again a lot about the price of DPR and the price of anything really. And burns, they think, oh yeah, it's gonna increase the price, so let's burn as much as possible because I'm holding on to mine. So I want that to be more valuable. Makes sense, but in terms of what's best for the project, uh, that's what we're doing. Yeah, and we're not trying to trick people to say, um, this has nothing to do with EZC. By the way, EZC will be minted when people burn DPR. That's EZC, and that's going to be more for the retail aspects. Going to be tied in with the app, or as I should, the app that comes out eventually. But this particular thing has to do with the the blockchain and how transactions and the fees that are taken from that. Okay, and but those things could be adjusted. Polkadot could change that in the near, in the future, and we'll definitely make consideration when that happens. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Along the lines of, pricing and all those other things. Somebody was asking that, that what's going on with the dialogue between the dev team, investors, and supporters. It feels like it's been strained. Is there a way to guarantee of, kind of a more regular, consistent lines of communication to help kind of dispel rumors and concerns and the good old FUD that we see in crypto?
Yeah. Well, I think I probably should take more responsibility of that because of my recent the changes in my role. Before I was the CMO, now I'm the chief evangelist, and part of that was because I went. I'm currently the CEO of Tidex, which is an exchange. And I think in crypto it's quite common. You're doing multiple roles and being advisor here and there. It's just a very fast moving industry, and I wanted to take part in that as well. And so, because of that, and settling into Tidex and getting a lot of the things off the ground there, I didn't spend as much time here communicating with the community. So I apologize on that. But meanwhile, in a bear market, also there's sometimes some changes, and there's maybe not as much going on, anything too exciting either. So maybe um, that had contributed to some of that as well. But moving forward, I mean, I'll definitely try to do a little bit better on that, and apologize. But I'm always reachable on my Twitter. Our customer service, I think, I'm so proud of them. Our customer service team is tremendous. We have quick turnarounds, and we have a Zendesk ticket system, so no tickets ever get lost. Right, our support desk, and we've constantly improved our support desk. So if you just go to support.deeper.network, you can start tickets there. It's really quick, and people will respond very quickly. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to know. People really care about this, this whole token burn and things of that nature, because somebody else was also asking about communication in regards to that. So people are asking about more information um, from top management team. Are there any VCs currently interested in, jumping into the DPR, buying or in the project itself? Also, what's the burn rate? Like, I know you weren't 100% sure, but what is the burn rate? Like, point blank question there too.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I don't have much to add on that burn, but in terms of the VCs and investments coming in, in the bear market, it's very, very hard to fundraise, and everyone has tightened their money. There's a lot less money coming in from other institutions coming into crypto. As you see, the overall cryptocurrency market cap is below a billion. It's like, what is it, 700 million now, maybe 750 million. It's quite low. So that's the amount of money that's basically in this space. And so what I'm trying to say is that in a bear market, it's very tough to fundraise, but we do have a lot of connections with big VCs. I can't mention any names, but I think when the time's right, more money will come in as well. And the other thing is, um, I did go to Dubai. I was in Abu Dhabi a few months ago, and quite conservative there. I was a little bit surprised, but just talking to people and showing the device and stuff like that, I was able to get some private investors, just individuals, buy um, big chunks of DPR, and you probably saw some of the little jumps here and there from that. So yeah, I try to do as much as I can as an evangelist. That's basically my job. I try to get people excited about this project.
Now, talking about funds still, like, what is the current situation when it comes to Deeper and its finances? Um, you know, I'll just rate it point blank because this is tough. So, lost how many for these years? How bad is it?
What does that mean? I don't understand that question. How
That
bad is what?
it's a weirdly worded question, but I guess the
Okay.
question is, did how much money, has Deeper lost, I guess is what they're trying to get at. And like, how bad is it? Like, this is a very negatively worded question. At the
Oh,
end of the day,
okay.
they're trying to find out, hey, it's a bear market. You guys are still around. Is there money to keep going?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, actually, that's a good question because it gives me the opportunity to let the community know that we're not a project that sells tokens. We don't sell DPR to get more runway and continue to develop. We did great fundraising at the beginning that we're still working off of. We're not big spenders, as you probably have noticed. We spend it when we have to on key things, but we're not doing crazy marketing out there and just throwing money left and right. So we're doing fine. We're doing great. I wouldn't say it's great, but we're doing just fine. I think any project right now, basically, if they're doing fine, they're in good shape. We have runway there, and we're continuing to, as you can see, what you just heard on the roadmap, continuing to research and develop and come out with new things to try to achieve our goals. So there's nothing to worry about there. But I would like to mention again that we're not a project that's selling DPR so that we can continue. That would be bad. We're not selling any DPR. As a matter of fact, we don't really have much DPR to even do anything with. So all of our tokens are locked, and we have a small, I believe it's 5% of the total allocation for marketing and doing some small things. But we barely try to use. We don't even use that at all either. So. Yeah.
Awesome. Going back to, the team aspect of things, I know that there was a post about the CEO leaving Deeper. So the question is, what happened and who's, managing Deeper Network right now? Who's in the core team, if you can kind of introduce those people to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to talk a little bit about that. Michael Liu was kind of introduced in to we wanted to try something. He was willing to try something, and he was the CEO for a short period of time. And his main job coming in was to fundraise. And as I mentioned earlier about the challenges of fundraising in a bear market, he certainly faced that as well. And so basically, after discussion, the founder, which is Russell Leo, he basically it was mutual. The feeling was mutual between the two, and they decided, hey, Mike, as you know, Michael Liu, he's very involved in the crypto space. He's very early adopter of Bitcoin mining and doing a lot of those things. So he's quite busy as well, and so he tried to do what he wanted to do, and because of some of the challenges in the space and with the situation, he basically decided to not continue at this time. Maybe sometime in the future, but right now, it was the best thing that happened. In terms of who's running the show, I mean, Russell's always been running the show. He's the founder. This is his baby, and we also have Cheryl, who is the co-founder. She's still very involved. I don't ever want to leave Deeper, and that's why I'm still around, even though I'm doing other things. But Deeper is also my baby. So there's the team is all still here. I mean, we have the great moderators, a lot of them still around, and the support team, our customer support, our devs, everybody. So as far as making the main decisions, Russell is truly the CEO. I mean, even though we have somebody who comes in and has the title of CEO, they have to report to Russell, and he makes the final calls. So he's the boss.
So when it comes to Russell, what title does he hold?
He doesn't really care much for titles, and he's the tech guy. I mean, he's like the main developer, the brains behind this project. So I see him. I mean, honestly, if I was to give him he would be like CEO slash CTO kind of thing. That's kind of what he's doing. Yeah, the actual things he does from day to day. He's kind of the CEO, CTO. And Russell, he's a developer, and so he doesn't enjoy facing the community and doing anything kind of at the front of things. He prefers to do his thing. Um, he's kind of borderline genius and just rather develop and continue to do things for the project. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, Eric. Like I'll be honest.
yeah,
I've done enough that development in my days,
hmm
and sometimes I kind of agree with Russell. It's a lot easier to
yeah,
not have to interact with people and just kind of put
exactly.
your head down and get your work done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite distracting. I mean, the community is organic and it's hard to control what people say and stuff. And it does get to you. It doesn't matter how strong of a person you are. Uh, Things that people say, and this, people should take advice from their own mothers. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. But it does affect anybody, and so he's not afraid of criticism, but it's a distraction. I think he's kind of working on higher level stuff and what he feels is important for the project, and he's got teams to deal with the community, not him.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
me,
totally get it.
that's my job. Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets to be bothered by you. I get it. I appreciate you
Yeah.
bothering
Well, I
him
try
for
not to
us.
bother him either. He gets, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I gotta ask him this, and I don't want to. But like the roadmap, for instance, is something that we worked on for a long time, and yeah, it's hard to nail that down because basically once you get on the roadmap, it's you're pretty committed to it, and if you want to change anything on it, you gotta face the community about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to it, that's for sure.
Yep.
Talking about features, the one of the features that somebody wants to know about is the blacklist,
hmm
and they want to know if there will be a way to increase the number of sites and URLs there that can be blacklisted because they are reaching that limit. Is there anything planned out to get that piece updated?
I thought we addressed this a while back. Maybe this person who asked wasn't aware, but our blacklist actually supports wildcards, which basically means, if you put .onion in there on your blacklist, it will block anything .onion. Because onion sites a lot of times will have a lot of other sub kind of domains before that. And if you put in each of the subdomains in there, obviously it's going to take up space, right? So and on top of that, you're not going to block everything from that site. So we suggest to use the wildcard, and that will free up a lot of space on your blacklist.
Now, you talked about a roadmap and all of these things, which is awesome. And I wrote them down one at a time here. But when is that roadmap going to be published, you think? When can the community kind of see um, and share? Really, I mean, the reason I love seeing stuff on a website is so that I can share it out with people in a clean way that they can kind of follow along. When do you think we'll be able to see that online?
Mm, um, have to see. Our front end people are working on the Indiegogo launch site and other things. I gotta schedule it with them because the roadmap was just recently nailed down just late last week. So that's why I'm holding an AMA now, kind of late, but I couldn't do it without the roadmap being nailed down. So hopefully, I don't know. I can't really give a date, but I want to get it up as soon as possible. So I don't know. Probably not by Christmas. We're
Not by
probably pretty
Christmas.
busy. No, I don't think so. But it gets really busy at the end of the year. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens with any business. So as soon as possible. Yeah, we're not
All right.
gonna. It's already nailed down. There's no reason to not put it up.
Yeah, no, I
Besides
got it.
people being busy. Yeah.
So, part of what you were talking about was that app, and the question is if when you expect that DPN mobile app to come out, and I know you said 2024. Is that early 2024,
No,
late
no, no.
2024? I'm sorry,
The app
2023. I'm sorry.
2023. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Q1 probably of 2023. We were shooting for the end of this year, but currently it's still being tested, and just couldn't launch it. And also getting it listed on App Store and stuff. Apple's very, very strict. It takes time there too. So Google Play is a lot easier. So that'll probably come out first, and then we probably have to wait a few weeks for it to launch on App Store. But yeah, we're looking at Q1 of 2023 for the apps.
Got it. And so you mentioned that it's in testing. Does that mean that it's literally like on the test flight app on iOS, getting tested right now?
No, I meant the testing of the actual app itself. Yeah, I mean they're running it. I've seen it. It'll allow users who don't own devices to use the DPN. So basically, it's good. There's a like a limited time free service, and then after that, they're gonna have to pay and to use the service. So that's what the
Okay.
app is for those of you that don't know, and that'll
Yeah.
help with the nodes. Yeah,
And I think that's something that we're all, as a community, going to advertise like, hey, go use this VPN or DPN
yeah,
because it's going to help all of us, right?
absolutely. And having traveled so much this year, I gotta say, using VPNs is not only important for open access to things, but it's so important for your privacy as well. I know so many people that have never used VPNs that don't really care or they don't really know, but it's so important. And there's so many heavily censored countries out there as well. I was in Dubai a few months ago, and a lot of stuff there is blocked. Even Turkey is another country. A lot of stuff is blocked. We don't have to say anything about China. China is obviously very strict on censorship, and even like Russia and stuff. I mean, any country, and this kind of stuff changes. And VPNs are so important also for your privacy, in that when you're accessing things, you don't use a VPN, your IP is completely exposed. So by using full route on our devices, it'll help protect you there as well. And it's so much cheaper than subscribing to centralized VPN services. Um, it's not only centralized, but they actually log everything that you're doing. And if they were to get subpoenaed, I mean, you'd be on the line. We talked about all this before. It's just centralized VPNs often get blocked a lot easier because they only have limited number of IPs that they can kind of share. There's peak, usage issues with bottlenecking, and there's a lot of issues, and they charge you a lot. I mean, I know people who are paying, I don't know, upwards of $25, maybe $30 a month for VPN. And don't ever use the ones that are like, uh, 29.99. You can have unlimited VPN for the rest of your life. Those are basically created to steal your data. So don't ever trust those VPNs.
No, I think you're dead on. And not only that, which is kind of crazy. I was having a conversation about this week. Utilizing, a deeper device when you're on the go, like it makes my browsing experience faster because of all the crap that gets blocked. Just like take a look at logs. Like if you go to a public Wi-Fi, if you're going to Starbucks, wherever it is, and you're using a deeper device, take a look at the log right after, kind of using that. You'd be
Mm,
surprised at all the things that, those networks are trying to hit, and it's kind of wait, they're trying to access what, why, right?
yeah, I
It
know.
gets to be kind of wild when you start looking at logs and the details in it all.
Absolutely.
um I want to make sure that we do get allow people that have been here for a while to ask questions, but I'll start. I know that you made a comment, and I just want to ask you one quick tough question. You said the price is something that of DPR is not something you or the team really focuses on. But is it something you care about?
Oh, of course we care. I mean, but there's not much we can do. I mean, there are projects that only that care a lot about that, and there are white paper projects, and they're not doing they're basically marketing companies, and they will do market making and stuff to jack up the price, and then people FOMO in, and then they dump, and it's there's too much of that in this space, and the ultimate in the end, ultimately, like the users in your community get burned. And so we're not out there to manipulate anything. And plus, like market making costs money. And we're not using our money for that. We're a long term project to use and burn 50,000, $100,000 to pump the price up, 10, 20%. So you could dump and hurt the community. Like, no, that's not what we do. That's not where we spend our money. So, of course, we care. And that's manipulation. Honestly, like, that's illegal. And we don't do that. And right now the price is what it is, and the whole market's down. A lot of people, they just say, oh, you guys are down 90, 95% or whatever. Like, have you seen the rest of the market? Like, everything is down. You want to talk about down, and you look at NFTs, they're down like 99%, or whatever. And a lot of projects, they're not going to survive. And so you got to look at the big picture, and right now it's not an easy time. I feel for a lot of people, especially with the all the recent shenanigans with Luna Terra and FTX. I mean, I know so many people personally, who were affected by that, and it's heartbreaking. And all that stuff is happening now. I know people who've lost huge percentages of their net worth, and there was a huge risk, and they took that risk and they got burned, and it's really sad because they worked so hard for their money and now it's all gone. But yeah, I
Uh-oh. I don't know if it's me or Eric, but it sounded like he got rugged there for a second. As he was saying, I do care.
hey, I'm
Um,
back. Sorry.
all right, there you are. Perfect. I just want to make sure it wasn't me. That's the hardest thing when you're like, am I, can anybody hear
Nah,
me? But
Twitter
yeah,
always
I
drops
heard
me.
like,
It always drops me at least once during these AMAs. This probably means we're doing it too long or something.
no, I mean, we're just coming up on, on the hour here. And like you were saying, you want to make sure that if anybody has any burning questions, that you do get to those as well. The biggest thing that I've, gotten from people talking to me directly has been like, are they concerned about the price? And the way I've always positioned has been very similar to what you just said. But beyond that, it's a matter of building more than worrying about how much does it cost. And time and time again, when I do, I've given out so many deeper devices. It's always been a matter of, hey, you're going to get crypto as a bonus. Use the device because it's great. What it's
Exactly.
meant to do, it does it, and it does it really well.
Yeah.
You're going to get tokens out of it as a bonus. Forget about it. Leave it there and enjoy the rewards later on. It's the best way that I've been able to kind of explain
Thank
these
you.
deeper devices to people.
Yeah, and also, it's a long-term project. I already told you the things that we're doing. We're actually doing real things that people can use, and I think that's so important. Real use cases. Yes, a lot of it is infrastructure. People don't. They think there's no real use case, but I tell you, man, NPOW is going to be huge for the entire network with our decentralized Oracle and the opening of dApps. The things that you'll be doing there is truly Web3. So we're right up there in the beginning of all this, breaking new ground and at the frontier of this. So knowing that all the tokens that you're earning now through sharing and whatever, hold on to it. Like, to sell it at this price, I don't know. I don't want to sell even one. Like, that's not. It's long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you there. I mean, that's the best way to look at it for sure. We're getting some requests for people to speak already. Look at that. Yeah, and Eric, I didn't tell you this, but I do actually have a mini hanging out here that I'm gonna give out, so that will
Ooh,
happen.
nice. Yeah, you're so generous, man. Like, I've seen you give away so many things. I think I gave you some. I don't know if you gave those out yet. And I know you had some those coolers, the cooling bases, the USB extensions.
Yeah, especially for our Genesis miners. Those
Yep,
guys
yep.
are,
They get a
they can
little bit
definitely use
hot.
them. Just a little, just a little.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's take some questions from the community. You can raise your hand by clicking the heart or the reaction button, and then you can raise your hand, and then Victor will see it, and then he'll call you up accordingly.
Yeah, I got a request from Gab Rules already, so I'm just clicking the accept button here and letting them come up. There is a little bit of delay, so if you do come up, just realize that you might miss probably like 3 to 5 seconds of what we're saying. But once you're up here, just click on that mic on the bottom left-hand corner, and you should be able to speak. Gab Rules, go for it.
Hi, mic test first. Can you hear me?
Loud and
Yes.
clear.
All right. Yeah, first off, thank you for answering all those questions from the pigeonhole. My question is still related to the burn mechanism.
Mhm.
You guys say that you're using the Polkadot system for burning, and the burning of Polkadot actually works well because the access and use of the funds of the treasury are actually decentralized through a governance system. So
Mhm.
my question is the treasury wallets going to be the control of it's going to be decentralized in the future, or do Deeper Network intend to keep the control of that treasury wallet centralized?
Absolutely, it's going to be decentralized. Right now, it's still controlled by us, but eventually, the council will decide on how the treasury funds will be used, whether it's to reward those that contribute to the network in terms of development or promotions or whatever they want to do. You can put in proposals now if you're part of the council, and it gets voted on by the council. And so these things are all in place now, and very proud of it. I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. It's so cool to see that. Does that answer your question, Gab?
Half of it. May I
Okay.
please just put the other half of it?
Yeah.
Um, so in a term in the optic of Polkadot system, the proposals are actually voted through the governance system, and the council does not have any voting power on it. So how is this difference with the deeper network models going to impact the governance system in general? Because um, basically the council is issuing the proposals and they're voting themselves on the proposals. How is that any decentralized?
Well, eventually the council will be all community members. Right now, I believe it's 8 core members from the team, and we've opened up 7 slots for the community council. So, like I said, we're doing this in phases. And when you have a proposal, then you can basically vote on the whatever proposal is out there. And so eventually, people can be voted out of councils, I believe, as well. And also, they can by basically people can, I believe, stake more, and there's terms as well. So yeah, it's, I don't know. You put out a proposal, and the council will vote on it, and that will decide.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I appreciate it. CJ, hopefully you can hear me now. You just been brought up. I saw you raising your hand there. If you want to unmute, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Eric. I'll ask a question. I have a couple questions, but I'll just ask one at the moment. I'll wait to the other ones for later. My first question is the burn for credit. I guess the concern is that it gives the impression that 100% is burn, as if there's a massive a deflationary aspect of things. Can you change the wording in the advertisement where it says burn for credit to say in reality burn credit for DPR? DPR will be transferred to the Treasury wallet with a 1% burn every 28 days, and the remaining DPR can be used for other things. So the question is, can Deeper reword their advertising to be more clear? And can they fix their advertising that they've done in the past to make it more transparent what's actually happening?
Sure. Yeah, I think I don't know where it's really advertised. I think you're talking about a post, right? Like on the poster and stuff. And I think to fit all those words on a post would be a little bit long. But yeah, I think in fine print we could certainly include that in the future. We're not trying to mislead anybody, but a lot of people don't really, you know, they don't look into that, I guess. And it's not, we're not trying to hide anything, but I'm telling you right now, it is 1% of all the transactions every 7 days, just like Polkadot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not,
But yeah,
not the post. It's like on the web page of, there's like 1,000 something words that explain the process. It just leaves.
oh, is it on our blog? In the blog?
No, I think on Medium or something like that. When you go to Medium, where
Oh, okay. Yeah, our blog is now on our website, and the Medium is just an abstract that leads to the website. So you can click on Medium, and it goes to it's good for SEO, and it does a lot of other things. But yeah, we'll look into that and get the verbiage added.
okay, I have some more questions, but I'll wait, I guess, until I get called on again.
Okay, thanks, CJ.
And CJ, ultimately, that burn, option is inside of Atom OS. Is that correct?
You were cutting out a little bit there, Victor. What'd you say?
Sorry, I was just saying that ultimately the burning burning for credit takes place inside of Atom OS. So it would make sense for that to be, inside of that platform more than anything else, where people would actually take that action.
Yeah,
It
I don't know. Did you make sense of that, CJ?
The burning is done on the governance website. So you have to be familiar with how the governance website works. You go into the governance website, and then you pick the option that says burn for credit, and then you choose how much credit you want to go up, and it's per credit, per DPR per credit is the problem.
Yeah, and also you can only burn the max that you're capable of having earned. You can't just burn like until you have full like 800 credit score or anything like that. So
I believe there's a lifetime
lost credit
somewhere like 50 or something like that. Lifetime for your wallet address. There's a set limit.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. Hey, Zolt, how are you?
Good. Thank you for taking my call. Question is, I was under the impression the way to activate a hardware has changed, but that's not my experience. So we tried to put up a Pico, register it. Well, for mining, we were able to register it, but we couldn't transfer the 1,000 DPR to activate it. Is that still the same? Only you can do it from a software wallet, or any news on that, how to do this process? Because I'm not familiar with it. Thank you.
I don't think anything changed. I mean, you can get your device on the chain just by registering it, and it gets added in groups. But if I believe you can still stake 1,000 and get on chain right away. So I don't think any of that has changed. I don't know what problem you ran into there, Zolt.
Well, my understanding was, and please correct me, but over the summer, beginning of the summer, the idea was that the process is going to be made easy for those who don't know how to do software wallet, don't know how to go to the exchange and all that. So I sent 1,000 DPR to the new user, okay, who bought the device, and he doesn't know anything about how to go to the exchange and all that. But there is no way to get, so 1,000 DPR is sitting on his Deeper Chain wallet, but other than registering the hardware, which we did, okay, we can't seem to put 1,000 DPR in. So that's where I need help.
I see what you mean. You're talking about easy mining. Easy mining has been delayed indefinitely. I don't know if it'll ever happen, to be honest. But right now, with the current market conditions and everything, easy mining just didn't make much sense. It didn't actually accomplish. It wouldn't accomplish what we were trying to accomplish. Half of it, in terms of the rewards, it would actually would be worse. It would be very inflationary. But yeah, right now the only way is still the same through the portal, through the BSC portal where you stake and yeah, unfortunately,
Okay.
if the person doesn't really understand crypto, it's still a little bit challenging for some people.
That's what I needed to know. No problem.
Right.
Then I will burn the midnight candle and we'll get it done. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sol.
CJ does have more questions, so I want to make sure I can get him up here as well.
Okay.
CJ, you should be ready. Go for it.
My other question is for I've never used the bridge. I haven't sold any DPR tokens, but what's the current rate to go across the bridge? Is it 20,000 or 50,000 DPR?
You mean per person?
Yeah, per person per day.
I gotta look on the thing. I believe it's 50, and then it's like 1 million DPR a day total or something like that.
Okay, so my question is, for the community, why can't you guys increase the coins going across the bridge? Because even if there is a hack currently, it's equivalent to $350. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why can't you move the total going across the bridge to 100,000 or a couple 100,000? It's still way less than $1,000.
Yeah, well, that's the current value, right? So, like I said, that changes, and it's not about how much in U.S. dollars. It's about kind of a general percentage ratio. But I mean, it could be changed, and you know, that could be something that we can do if we feel like it's needed for the new year. Yeah, if that's something that the community really cares about to increase the limits on the bridge, then we can discuss it and get that changed.
Yeah, because
Increased.
I'm assuming we're potentially in a bear market for a couple of years is the speculation, and a lot of people would like that increase, even though I myself haven't went across the bridge at all or sold anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think everyone has different opinions on it, and we weren't aware that people wanted that. That there was like a top priority topic for most people. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about that, this is why councils are great, because you can make those proposals, and let the community decide. All right.
I have more questions too, but I'm just
Okay. Go ahead, CJ. If nobody else is raising their hand, or if you want to say something nice, you could raise your hand and come up and say something nice too. Wishing me a Merry Christmas.
So the Polkadot chain has vision to a total amount of money that's burned through the Treasury wallet or burned through in other ways. Is there any reason why Deeper can add a total burn amount of Deeper Chain DPR on the Deeper Scan website, like similar to what Polkadot does?
Oh, to show how much was burned?
A total burn.
Total burn. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't aware. Like, I don't program that stuff, obviously, but I could definitely bring that up. If they can add that on Deeper Scan, I think that would be great, because then, if CoinMarketCap isn't able to kind of bring down the total supply, and the way we did it, I can understand why they couldn't. But I mean, 10 billion is like a much cleaner number for most people. And then if we could show it on Deeper Scan how much total was burned, I think that would really solve the issue. So that's great suggestion, CJ.
Thank you. My next question is the Treasury wallet does not allow for a proposal to burn the whole entire Treasury wallet. There's no option in there for the council to burn it in the future if they decide to just burn everything or even burn a portion of it. Is that something that the devs can program, a burning option of the funds in the Treasury, so the council members can do that?
I'll put that down as well. I'll write that down. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer for that.
Then my next question is there anything preventing the deeper chain DPR from getting listed on an exchange like a TIDEX or any other exchange? What's preventing deeper chain token itself from getting listed?
Well, right now our main goal and the strategy is to list on tier one, and we are closer than ever each day. And I can't give too many details on it. I don't want to jeopardize the opportunity here, but it's not about getting it on a bunch of smaller exchanges and then bunch of markets. Like that's one strategy, I suppose. But right now it's about tier one. So like the market is really bad to do listings now as well. But we're in the DD phase, and they're kind of going back and forth a lot of that, and all of the exchanges, especially tier ones, are very, very careful about who they list and making sure that everything passes the Howey test and that there's nothing that's basically like they're not listing any projects that are scams or that are talking to possibly making it the token a security, those kind of things. So nothing's really preventing it, and we're continuing to work. It's not as easy as what people think to be listed, and we're not. Unfortunately, we're not one of those. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, we're not one of those projects that just pays for listings either, like tons and tons, because that would affect our strategy in terms of research and development and doing the things, and then it would affect our runway. So we're not a very wasteful company. Some people might not see, they're like, well, you could just pay for it and then get it listed on a tier one. That's not wasteful. Well, it is when it compared to kind of what our goals are. And, listing on a tier one doesn't automatically make you a successful project, and it's not going to help us carry forward. It might temporarily, it might be a pump or whatever, but in this kind of market, kind of doubt it. It would be a waste. So, yeah.
It'd be a nice sign of good faith in a sense if the deeper chain, deeper DPR crypto itself could get listed on at least some sort of exchange, a decentralized exchange or something, just to show that it's got some backing behind it. Because right now it's basically just a token either on Binance or Ethereum. That's my next question is the concern about the community about the price of Deeper dropping. I guess it's more of a concern when Deeper came out. They were one of the top 400 all-time cryptos out of the 20, 50, 100,000 cryptos that exist. Deeper, instead of just dropping down like all the other altcoins and staying in the same tier, has been just gradually dropping out. So now it's like in the top 800. So I guess that's the main concern about with the community is that it's just dropping in rank faster than the other top cryptos out there.
Well, I think part of the reason for that is we're different, right? There's mining and there's inflation and there's rewards paid out and people sell it, right? So secondary market dictates the price, and this is the price it's at right now. Other projects, they don't have the mining, they don't have rewards paid out. So after a while, things will all get sold out and the price just kind of holds still. So we're just a different type of project. And of course, the inflation is not ideal, and but it is what it is. We have to incentivize people on the network. Imagine you're doing all the stuff that you guys are doing now, and we don't incentivize you for it. Who's going to want to join? So there is the other aspect of the sell pressure on the secondary market. Unfortunately, we have to face. But overall, as we continue to develop all the things I mentioned on the roadmap, things will get better. And when the market turns, things will get better. And as more exposure we have about this project and get more believers, things will get better as well. So I'm quite hopeful on that. But it's not financial advice. It's not it's not a pipe dream. That's for sure.
And CJ, I'm guessing you might have even some more questions there. I just want to make sure we can get some other people here to ask their questions. Just brought up Palm Beach. Want to make sure that they can get their questions asked and answered here as well. Palm Beach, if you want to unmute yourself, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Morning, fellas. Hey, Eric, got a quick question for you. I asked this question in the Telegram and I wasn't able to get an answer. So if the Genesis Pico breaks down and is no good, how do I get another one?
Well, Genesis is a mini, right? Are you talking about the Pico or the Genesis?
Well, the Genesis, silver Genesis that I got sent in the mail. If that thing sticks to shit, how do I get another one?
Okay. If it's still under warranty, we will replace it for you. If it's out of warranty, which is a year, we can. You would have to buy a new device, but we can. Our back end will rebind everything and get it so that it becomes the Genesis, even though it doesn't look like the Genesis or smell like it, but it will function as a Genesis.
Gotcha. Will I need to send this unit back in, or do I just buy one and then?
Yeah, most likely they'll probably troubleshoot it. We'll see what happens, but I would contact support on that, support.deeper.network and discuss that with support. And we have technical support guys who will help you troubleshoot it. And I'm sure you wouldn't go through all that trouble if the device wasn't actually dead, and just to get a free mini or something.
Yeah.
So they'll make judgment, and then
All right, and then the fan thing. I mean, I had this thing it's going on a year now, probably. What is and it's behind ATV. I forgot about it at one point, and it's still running. Never had an issue. Like, is the fan necessary for this thing? I mean, it's not running 100, 240 gigs or like terahash, nothing, right? It's like
yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we came out with the cooling base. I think the cooling base, the fan the rotation is a lot slower. It's not as noisy, number one, and then the fan that was in the device wasn't the best. Apparently, we're finding out now, and so it didn't last. It is necessary. I think it depends on the environment. Everyone's setup environment's different. Some people live in hotter areas. Some people put it near other hot devices. Mine never has an issue. I don't have any fans on it. And it runs great. And the temperature is always sitting around 50 degrees Celsius. So it really depends on the person and their usage. There's too many factors.
Gotcha.
To say.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate everything you do.
Okay, cool. Hey, it's great seeing you, man. I know you were one of the early supporters, and so great to see you're still here.
Yeah, man. Still chugging along, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you. All right.
All right, Eric, we brought you up. Go ahead and unmute and you can ask your question.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Hey. Thank you, Eric. You too. Yeah,
right.
Good.
I have a couple of questions. So I've been here since Genesis Gold Mine. Now, a lot of things that has happened, which I would like a bit of information or clarity, is has the people who had a lot of tokens now all dumped their tokens? Are they all out of the market? I know there was some allocations previously that was given out to certain people regarding advertising and stuff like that and promotion, which you were going through a lot of challenges with. Is all of that sorted out now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow everybody if they've dumped it or anything like that, but I would assume a lot of them sold, and that's why the price is kind of what it is now, as well. But it happens to projects. We'll make a comeback, but yeah.
Okay. Now, one thing I would like to suggest is that I know now you're doing the AMAs. The AMAs you were doing before were great, but then it died out, and a lot of people had a lot of speculation where we weren't getting enough information. So I'll really encourage you to do more of the AMAs, like a lot of the crypto firms are doing, during this bear market, and what that gives a reassurance to those of us who have invested a large amount of, just to know what's happening.
Sure.
It doesn't matter negative or positive, but it's the fact that you're keeping your supporters in the loop of what's happening. Even if there isn't much to report on, it's just simple communication, give a lot of reassurance to investors to know that, yeah, the project's still going on. There's no chance of the project dying out. And so people can then sort of be rest assured a bit more. I think there was a lot in the Telegram spaces with a lot of speculations, and it was 2 months or so, 3 months, wasn't hearing a lot. So it's nice that you're doing the AMA, but I will encourage you to continue with the AMAs and to keep us dated more and more often if that's possible.
Thank you. Yes, I will try my best, and I apologize. I should probably take some responsibility on that. I kind of discussed that a little bit earlier in one of the questions, and I'll try to do better on that, especially this year.
All right, thank you. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you, Eric. You too.
We got Zolt here with his hand up. Go ahead, buddy.
Eric, would you please describe an ideal scenario how one can become another evangelist like you? So how can we coordinate our efforts to help the network? What can the community do for the network? Because I'm kind of tired listening of everybody's talking about their concerns about the price of a DPR and all that, whereas you keep telling that this is a long-term project. Forget about the price. It is what it is. We'll see how things are going to turn out. But you as an evangelist, I would like to see you duplicate yourself. What can we do? Please describe a scenario.
Thank you. That's a great question. I really appreciate your support there. And, people have their opinions, and I don't take it personally, but yeah, people should have a more open mind on things, and they can support. If you love this project and you want to see your tokens do better, flooding it is not going to help, and you're only shooting yourself in the foot, along with all the people that are here dedicated to the project. And we have an affiliate system. If you haven't checked out our affiliate system, it's fantastic. It works really well. You get paid 15% commission on every device that you sell. And you just go to our website, shop.deeper.network, and then you click the affiliate link. And the affiliate link will allow you to have your own affiliate link and code, and you can share that with friends and talk about, your crypto. Talk about the project to your crypto friends, to your family. This is not just about crypto, right? Because the device itself. Hold on a sec. Yeah,
I got it.
The device. Okay, you got it. Thanks. Thought there was a snake in here for a sec. Yeah, the device itself is also cybersecurity, and with all of the dangers of the internet, especially you read more and more now how important security is, network security. It's not about crypto anymore. So become an affiliate. If you're an influencer with an audience like Victor has grown his channel and his community so much, and with mining and also the NFT space. If you're an influencer, become a brand ambassador. Start within as an affiliate, and if you have an audience, you actually have the potential to make a lot more than an individual who only has family and friends. But if you have thousands of people as an audience, that's even better. So yeah, become an affiliate. Brand ambassadors are selected, and they can earn even higher rewards, and also receive support in terms of resources to do what they need to do, and those are selected by the team. So those are 2 great ways. And yeah, thanks for bringing that up so I can talk about the affiliate system. So just go to shop.deeper.network, click on the affiliate link. You can become an affiliate in a matter of minutes. Thank you. We got Fabric, huh?
Yes, sir. We brought up Fabric. That was a snake. Go ahead, Fabric, if you want to unmute yourself now.
Hello. Thank you for taking our questions. So I found out about Deeper Network about 2 months ago by listening to a video that was put out 1 year ago. And without listening to that video, I wouldn't be talking to you today. So I'm not really sure how to get the build network effect, but anyway, you have gained my attention.
Awesome.
2 months ago, I purchased my first mini set, and since I purchased 3 more mini sets. So
Wow.
I've got my little mini mining farm going on now. But anyway, I really, really like the Deeper Network product.
Thank you so much.
So
where are you located?
I'm located in the U.S.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
So, and real easy to set up, by the way. I mean, I mining and everything, and first time I've ever done any of this, but anyway, it's so easy to set up. So this brings me to my question, and it kind of goes along with the last question somewhat. But I am a supply chain engineer for a large manufacturing company.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we only do assembly, so we rely heavily upon our suppliers. So this year we've really seen an increase of cybersecurity attacks within my supply base.
Yep.
In 2021, there were no attacks, but in the first half there was one. Then the second one occurred in November, and then a third one occurred at a supplier. This is a Mexico supplier, but it's crippling when that happens because Mexico supplier builds frames for us. So in each case, these suppliers were down between 3 and 5 weeks where they couldn't ship product. So how is it possible, knowing that it was hard for me to find the Deeper Network, how is it possible to bring large companies on board? And I know you're tailoring to the consumer market, but these manufacturing companies with an office facility of between 30 and 200 office workers, is it possible to bring on these manufacturing companies onto the Deeper Network? Because of course everyone uses VPN, but I'm really I guess I want to be the evangelist, so to speak, for the DPN. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'll allow you to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I knew in terms of like how to get the word out even better. And hey, could you mute your mic real quick, Fabric? I appreciate that. Thanks. And let's see. I guess the question was, how do we get the word out more? The best way is through influencers. They have their audience. The other way is just through the community. We did some bigger marketing campaigns in the past. Like I actually went to Toronto to do Unbox Therapy, who has, I think, over 20 million followers or something crazy, and to get the word out. People still see videos. So by influencers making these videos that sit around, look at what Fabric, he only found out about this project, a few months ago, and now because of a video that's been sitting on YouTube for a year. So that's great. I would just say, yeah, through affiliates and through your word of mouth, and we continue to do what we need to do as well, and getting it into the hands of businesses and warehouses and logistics. That is in our roadmap. That's something that we will do. People can, in small offices, use the Mini to protect everything from the hacks and the ransomware and all these things. And that there's proof right there. He had 3 hacks in 2022 that affected their business, when in 2021 they had 0. And it is super crippling. I mean, I've I've heard of firsthand people had viruses and ransomware where it locked out their entire network, and they weren't able to unless they paid the ransom, which who knows if they would actually unlock their files, but they basically just created all new files, and it was crippling. It takes hundreds of hours to recreate those things, and you're never able to get it back. But yeah, if you have the opportunity, you have loved ones, you want to protect them, you have a small business, get a mini and plug it in, and you'll see the power of it, and it will prevent you it'll protect you and prevent from a lot of the serious hacks out there. And people say, well, I have Windows defense and whatever, or I have some virus software on my laptop already. Well, that's often it's not good enough. Like oftentimes the software, not oftentimes, hardware cybersecurity is way better than software cybersecurity. Software has its limitations, and when you actually have a hardware with actual layers and layers of firewalls protecting your entire network and anything connected to that network, whether it's your cell phone, your IoT devices, it's all protected. So we're going to continue to push as we have the nodes are able to support more B2B, and our infrastructure is able to support more B2B. We're certainly going to go there because there's a huge market to tap into there as well. All right, that I don't know if that really answered anything. Kind of blabbing away there.
Yes, thank you very much. But yeah, I agree. The cost of these companies, for being down 3 to 5 weeks, it would be pennies on the dollar to do some preventative action and put a deeper in place, or a deeper network. I do have one more question if there's time for me to ask that.
I'll let Victor decide. He's the host.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Let's see if we can get it. We can get through as many as possible here.
Okay, so there are some sites that I don't, want my IP address hidden, and it seems simplistic on the Atom OS to put the domain in and then say that this is the tunnel that I want this domain to go to. But anyway, I've been doing testing with the site showmyip.com, and when I do it in this method, that it doesn't change my IP address. It's like nothing has happened. So is there something I'm not understanding, or?
Yeah, there is actually, and I'm glad you brought it up since we have the audience here. If you could mute your mic again real quick, Fabric, thank you. So there's an article in our blog. It's called DPN 101, and there it will let you understand what Smart Route and the differences between Smart Route and Full Route. Okay, so Smart Route is not designed to hide your IP. It's really designed for you to get to a certain IP quickly, and also be able to access certain tunnels quickly. But if you want to hide your IP, you have to use Full Route. But unfortunately, and Smart Route actually gets you there. You have it'll find the best speeds to allow you to do those things. But Full Route will force it into a particular tunnel, and there your IP will not be the same. So if you want to hide your IPs, you got to go Full Route. Okay, but I would say go to the blog, read the article. I don't want to explain the whole thing because it'll take a lot of time here. But it's a great article that was written years ago, and it still holds true. It's called DPN 101. Just visit our blog at shop.deeper.network, or our Medium. You can link to it as well. So read that article, Fabric, and then it will help you understand what the differences are and why that's happening.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for taking our questions.
That's all I have. It was great talking to you, and welcome to the community. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. All right, we got Gab Rules back here. I think you got another question?
Yes, I'll try to keep it short for this one. I'm sorry if they're a complicated question. Let me just build it up to where I'm leading to, and then I'll ask my question at the end. On a conventional public market, such as like public companies, usually companies' performance is monitored via many tools, such as monthly report, quarterly report, KPIs, and roadmaps, which has milestones to it. And then this allows to monitor the performance and delivery of a company. I know you guys are still a private company, but you have investors on the crypto side, which creates pressure from the investors for delivery. Now leads to my question. What are the tools that, or are there any tools that Deeper intend to implement to monitor and enforce the delivery of their promises to avoid over-promising and under-delivering?
Well, I don't think I mean, in the crypto space, I think most, where it's not like a publicly traded company where they have to have those kind of things, right? But I don't think we don't have the history of over promising and making these huge high hope things and not deliver. I think if anything, we're more on the conservative side, and the community wants us to do more faster. So, is there anything that we want to do to change, like, or to make it so the community is happier, maybe? Or, well, I mean, like the roadmap, I finally nailed it down, and we're going to be putting that on the webpage now. If anything changes on it, does that mean we're going to fire Russell? No, like, he's the founder, and there's probably a reason if we don't meet something on there, and we will try to explain why that happened. And running a private company is never easy. We're really still a startup if you really look at it, and for startups, things change so fast. But I can tell you the intentions of this company is to be a unicorn. I mean, we want to build this company to be where everyone has a device in their house, and that's the kind of the direction that and the goals, the high level goals that we have. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes,
kind of does.
I just wish to put a little feedback on this, and I appreciate pushing the extra time, because we're an hour and 40 through this AMA, and I'm really thankful for this. Just this feedback of like, and Eric earlier kind of mentioned it, like the lack of communication and information kind of leads to speculation, and I'm a bit at fault here, because I myself, I'm probably one of the most speculating person on the Telegram myself, and it kind of leads to spicy conversation often.
Yeah.
So I would
like
say,
the
like,
adjectives. I like the adjectives you use. They're good.
But to avoid further situation like this, in order to keep control and on the situation and the conversation itself, and to reduce speculation, it's to increase the amount of communication, and often, and just, even if it's not important details, you don't have any meat on the bone necessarily. It's just about being able to be accessible and reaching out. It could be an informal AMA, or just like, a little voice chat or something like this. Be like, how was your week? Here's what we've done this week. We had like, a little short-term target for this week. We achieved it. Great success. And now everyone's happy because we get in contact. So the longer the span for the silence, the more speculation can happen. That's just my feedback on this.
Okay. Well, I like to talk about that a little bit. I mean, I mentioned earlier, I will certainly try to be better in terms of communicating. I had some on the professional front. There's been other things I needed to take care of, but I'm still around. And if you notice on my personal Twitter account, hello Eric Ma. If you haven't followed me, please do. I reply to almost everything on there, unless it's just total FUD and the guy's being horrible. I'll either not answer, or if it's really bad, I'll just block them. But there's other channels for communication, right? So we have our monthly, which is now bi-monthly report, and you can find out so much information. If you haven't checked out our blog, please go to it. It includes like the monthly reports, the bi-monthly reports, and it gives you so much information on the current progress. So just because you don't have an AMA through me, it doesn't mean that there's no there's like no communication, right? Our community is always there. Our moderators, uh, they're all there to answer questions, and then there's Twitter, our Telegram support desk, is great, very fast to respond. There's just other ways to find out stuff, not just hold AMAs all the time either. And but I will continue to hold AMAs when needed. And yeah, please, try to find out other channels of communication and other ways to find out more. Just because there's no AMA doesn't mean there's nothing going on. There's so much going on. Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time.
though, Gab. All right, Gab. Thanks.
All
See,
right, I
3
have. Yeah, I have.
Let's
Go ahead, Eric.
let's cap this at in 10 minutes. Let's finish this, and I don't want it to extend longer than 2 hours. It's really long.
So yeah, no, totally makes sense, and I want to make sure that we can get some new faces up here because we do have some requests. Just brought. Let me see if they popped up. Yep, I see you, Walid, as a speaker. If you want to mute yourself, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this public podcast. So my question, I have like two questions. First of all, it's regarding the nodes. I mean, if we want to select a specific nodes by a specific country, and we know there is some people they already have like the device there, but obviously it seems like it's random because I tried to connect in this specific country and I didn't find any online nodes regarding this specific country. Is it normal or not?
Yeah.
And
That's yes, I'll answer that first.
okay.
Or you have a second question connected, or
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I have the second one. The second one is
Because I have a horrible memory. I'll
okay,
forget
okay.
the first question.
Start with the first, and
Okay.
I will go to the second. Okay, start with the first.
All right. So the first one, it is somewhat normal because it is random, and also it has to do with whether the IP is a public IP or a private one. And in some countries, and some people know how to do it. They can make their IPs a public IP, which is a much more discoverable, many more people connected to them. But if it's a private IP, it becomes less discoverable. So, and you can't connect to a specific IP. Like if you have a friend living in a different country, you want to connect exactly to his device. Unfortunately, at this point, we don't have that capability yet. But if you are having trouble connecting to a certain country and you find that, like right now we have tons of nodes in the US, in the UK. Certain countries have a lot more public nodes and just nodes in general, because our users are mostly from North America and in the UK, Western countries. But we're starting to expand. I mean, we're opening new warehouses, and we just recently opened one in Dubai, in the UAE, because the market there they really need the product that we have, and we're starting to see a lot more orders coming from the Middle East area. And so we opened a new warehouse there. And if you find there's a certain country that you always try to connect to and you can't find a node, write our support desk. And with more requests for this particular country, at least temporarily, what we could do is open Cloud Node for that particular country so that we can serve the community. And until that country populates more decentralized nodes, we can do something like that to kind of help out. Okay. I hope that answered your first question.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much for this one. The second one is hello. Did you hear me?
No, yeah, I heard you.
Okay, cool.
You didn't ask it yet, though.
Okay, so no, okay. The second one is regarding like the mining part. I mean, if we choose don't stacking any deeper token, but we just want to do the mining and share just our data, just like our connection. So what I expect is like at least like in certain time, earning like some tokens or I don't know, to have like, because now it's like in zero, you know. And
Yeah.
I was wondering, because I'm not the only one, so I tried in different device in different country, because there is some country where they cannot, like, for example, buy token, but they just want to share the bandwidth, and they have like the possibility to use like the connection without like just block some website or stuff like that, but they can just like share the bandwidth. So they told me like, we cannot like buy tokens, but we want to just share the bandwidth. At least I can have access to them, you know, without like any exclusion or stuff like that. But the thing is, they didn't earn
Sure.
yet the token.
Yeah.
So I want to know if this is normal, or there is maybe an update in the future or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing they have to do is to make sure that their device is on the chain. So they have to register their device. And we have a video on our Deeper Network channel that teaches you how to do that. And you get added on, and we
We
add these
already did that.
devices on. Okay, perfect. So you guys are on the chain. That's great. So you can see the
Yeah,
wallet tab and all that stuff.
exactly. The mining,
Perfect.
yeah, the mining tab, yeah. We already
Excellent.
did that.
Now, the second thing is, you know, depending on the country you live in, because all this stuff kind of happens organically depending on needs, right? So if you're living in a country where not many people are connecting, you know, say some small island in the Bahamas or something, nothing against these countries. It's just that typically, you know, people don't connect to these countries as much. It's going to be harder for them to mine organically. We call it, you know, and so there's really not much we can do if they just keep it open. Sometimes they might share enough, sometimes they don't. That situation will improve. Now, we're talking about proof of credit, right? But that's kind of the current consensus algorithm. We're introducing a new consensus algorithm, NPOW, which isn't geographically dictated by wherever they live. And what NPOW is, you know, Web3. It's based on the use of your IPs to do work. And so as long as you have an IP, they will be able to participate. So down the road, and if once the roadmap pump comes out, you can see that next year, NPOW is going to play a huge part in the way people earn. And so just have them hold tight. You know, if they're not earning on proof of credit right now, they will eventually. And as a part of this network, they're not only going to have the benefits of owning the device, but they're going to be a big, you know, owning devices. They'll be able to participate in other ways to earn
Okay,
soon.
so
Yeah.
if I understand with your observation, if for example there is like between 5 and 10 person, they are already connected to this specific nodes, and he didn't earn too much. But for example, when I saw, it's like he shared like at least maybe a half gigabyte data, but it's not too much, but it's still not earning anything. In this case, it means like maybe because it's related is in country, because it's in Africa, or you know,
No,
there is not
all
like in there is.
the only rule is that you have to share 10 megabytes of data a day to earn 1 credit. So 10 megabytes is not a lot. You have to make sure you're looking at the right spot, how much you're actually sharing. But that's it for proof of credit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it means like if like if the minimum, like if you share like more than 10 gigabytes, but people when
No,
they
10,
use like
10 megabytes.
10,
10
10 megabytes,
megabytes.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's really, yeah, yeah, it's not too much. So I mean, like
No.
after 10 megabytes he will earn. But yeah, this is what I saw. Like I saw like he already like people like use his data, the bandwidth like at least less than 1 gigabyte, but they have like 500 megabyte, but still nothing, you know. So this is why and now he's like looking to he, because they people like told me like maybe we need to buy some tokens to at least like create a push up. I don't know where, if like it's related to this, because I remember one of your video you said buy some like 2 or 3 tokens to just like be more faster on the chain or something like that. If
Oh,
you remember
okay.
that.
Yeah. Okay, if they're sharing at least 10 megabytes a day and their credit is not increasing, that could be a sign because they don't have any DPR. Because you have to have at least 2 DPR, 2 to
Totally.
5,
Okay.
basically. Yeah, to
Okay.
pay. So what I would do is have them write support. We'll sort that out with them. And yeah, and basically they have to be activated on the chain because they don't have enough DPR to pay the micropayments, which is necessary for transactions, and that could be what's happening.
Okay, good to know. So yeah, I think we need to specify this kind of part into the
Right.
documentation, you know, because there is like I just heard that in your video. I mean, you said like try to buy like some DPR, that's it. But you know, to just activate
Yeah,
the
I mean, if you have DPR, you just send a couple to him, and then he'll be fine. As soon as they have
okay,
it in their wallet, it just automatically will activate. So, heck, I've even sent DPR to people if I think, try to help out. Yeah, I'm not saying
nice,
don't message me, everyone, for free DPR, but I'm just saying.
nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks,
Bye.
Waleed. Thanks
Thanks.
for
Bye.
putting your questions in words that it makes a lot of sense, and it's very hard to ask some of these questions because it's not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, thanks, good questions. All right, how about one last question, Victor? It's
Yeah,
getting really late where I am.
No, for sure. It's getting really early where I am, but we can definitely get one new person here.
Yeah, you got to get your day started. Thanks for waking up at like 5 or 6 to do this, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure. Mas, you're up here. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey guys, thanks again for doing this. I had and I apologize if I didn't hear this. I'm working, so I have to mute sometimes to have meetings also. But I sometimes I try to use the fully routed method, and it doesn't seem to fully route. Basically, it seems to still use my same servers in my country. And I was just wondering, like, is there a way of fixing this issue, or somehow getting it?
Well, that needs to be troubleshooted through support. Full route should put you in a different IP in a different tunnel. Sometimes you might want to clear your cache, restart the browser. That could often I found that works. And sometimes after doing that, you just have to wait a little bit because it takes a little while. I've also heard people who use full route, depending on the node that they're connecting to, it could be slow to load. And if that happens, if there's other nodes that you're on your tunnel list, you can refresh or change nodes. Sometimes that change IPs, it will make it faster jumping on another node. But if you have issues like that where you're on full route and it's not going somewhere, then go ahead and write our support desk. There's so many ways. If you kind of explore Atom OS, you can also find that you don't have to like constantly change back and forth. If, for instance, like as an example, some people who like to watch Netflix, their favorite show for Netflix is only on the US node and they're living in India or whatever, right? And so what they do, they can customize that domain for Netflix to every time they visit Netflix, it goes to the US node so that they don't have to change things. Yeah. So those are like different ways you can control that.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to like connect to a fresh node every time, right? That's how VPNs typically work. And it's annoying because you could only have one tunnel at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
but you can have up to 16 with this.
Yeah, that part works well with my deeper connect. It's just the when I do fully routed, for some reason it doesn't go to
Yeah,
another.
that's weird. That's really weird because I only find that true with Smart Route. And go read that article I mentioned earlier, DP 101. It'll explain the difference between Smart Route and Full Route. But from my experience, Full Route has always worked. It's just I sometimes will encounter speed issues, but it always gets the thing done. Yeah.
And I had one more question. Like I've gone through like I guess 15 days straight of like barely any share in traffic, and I have like a gigabyte of internet service. Like, and I probably asked this question before, but is there a way for it to get prioritized somehow that like I have it fully open, so I don't see why anybody's not connected and using my deeper.
Okay. The only way I know is by changing your IP to public IP. That is the best way. Besides that, it's just you have to kind of wait until you're discovered. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, hey, people who are really worried about the credit scores and sharing enough and stuff, like NPOW is where it's at, and when that kind of there'll be both, when it gets introduced, like proof of credit, and this credit system is not going away like anytime like in the next few months or anything. So we'll have that along with NPOW. NPOW, I think people are going to be so much happier about. I mentioned earlier in the AMA, the testing group, they really love the way it's worked. For instance, just to give you a quick idea, your IP can be used through the Oracle to collect a certain data. So it can be used for voting on a video. There's gray areas that you can use it for. It can be used to pull data, off an exchange, just so this person can use it. It can be used for testing platforms and new websites or blockchains. They need real IPs to stress test something, and your IP can participate in something like that. And by doing so, you'll get paid for it. And these fees will be available for people to buy and pay. And then those fees go directly to all the people whose IPs are used. So that is the true power of Web3. As the project goes in different phases and in new phases, certain consensus algorithms will phase out and new ways will come in. But proof of stake was great, and it still is great. But while it lasts, but eventually it's going to go away. A full migration is going to happen. I forgot what I mentioned, but I think it's like Q3 of next year or something like that.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mas. All right, let's call it. Let's call this AMA.
I think you did everything in this one, Eric. I mean, you took that CMO spot, the chief evangelist, and even support tech now too. So yeah, this is a great 2 hours to start off my day.
Yeah. And Christian, I see Christian. Thank you, Victor. I see Christian has a question, but Christian, if you have a question, you could go ahead and you can message me on Twitter or something and ask your question. I'll be happy to answer. But I think this AMAs has gone on for long enough, and it's recorded. We'll have it up there for people to listen to. If you have people asking or wondering or really frustrated, share this with them so they can hear it. And I hope everyone has a great holiday season, a great new year. It's just around the corner. And remember to spend time with your loved ones. If you don't have very close loved ones, spend it with friends. I've recently lost 2 very close friends to cancer, and there were only 50-something, 54 or something, and it's been devastating, and it's made me realize and prioritize how I spend my time and how I do things. So please remember that kind of stuff, especially during the holiday season. If you have friends that don't have, friends or family or something, or family, invite them over. I've lost people to suicide. These are all things I really care about. I know it has nothing to do with Deeper Network, but this is my closing for this AMA for the holiday season. And eat lots of turkey, eat lots of ham, whatever it is you're into. And we'll see you in the new year. It's going to be good. Even though the market's bad, we're continuing to build that Deeper Network. And it's, as you'll see from the roadmap, we're doing a lot of great things that are infrastructural based for Web3. We're reaching both back towards Web3. I'm sorry, Web 2, and also moving forward with new Web3 stuff. And very exciting year. Thank you, Victor. Thank you to all of our moderators, to all the listeners here. And we'll try to post this on YouTube. I got to figure that out. And we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Eric. And it has everything to do with Deeper because this is a community-based thing, and we love spending time with each other and helping each other. If it's sharing bandwidth or sharing some,
You're
good
right.
news, whatever it is that's going on, we really do appreciate the community. So thank you guys so much, and thank you, Cesar. You just got a Deeper Connect mini. I'm gonna send that to you. I'm gonna reach out to you right
Oh,
now.
wow. How did he get that? How did he win that?
He shared the space. He shared what was going on here. It was pretty straightforward. I did this
Oh,
all the time. I
man.
gave out gift cards early this morning as soon as I woke up to my community, saying, "Hey, if y'all want to come out to the space, just here's a gift card. Whoever grabs it first." So it's a matter of
Yeah,
giving back,
awesome.
man. So yeah, like I was saying, you are dead on when you're talking about hanging out with friends and family, spending time with the people that matter most, because that is what it's all about. So thank you all so much. Just a little tiny thing for me to say I appreciate you all being here today and supporting this awesome ecosystem.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great night. Bye-bye.